Hello everyone. In today's topic, we will be looking to the message integrity and message authentication that we have in cryptography and network security. So before starting with it, let's have an introduction about what is message integrity and message authentication. Here, basically, the integrity we have already learned what is integrity and what all the different concepts we require in integrity of a message, information, or a data that we have in a database or any other resources where the data are stored or the information is stored. Now with this we have to also make sure the authenticity of the message that has come from one place or not. And in our first chapter we have seen that when we are talking about this, one major thing came into picture: how to secure our network security is through our cryptographical things. So cryptography again uses hash function and all, and how it works. So when we are talking about it, so like message authentication, then we are talking about message authentication. We have to authenticate our message, protect the integrity of the message, validate the identity or originator, non-repetition of the origin. Will consider the secure requirement. Then three alternatives of function used can be the message encryption, MAC, the message authentication code, and hash function. These three are the different things, the alternative function we can use to make sure our message is authenticated and not. So starting with the first one, digital signature. So when we are talking about digital signature, it is something where a person, or the originator, or the person who's writing the things, will write a digital sign over there, over the document over there, and then he will make sure that those data have been sent to the things, other people and all, and the people can look through it, the signatures and all, and understand that this data is done it properly and it's been done by this person only. Other good thing about digital signature is that it verifies the author's date and time of signature also, and authenticates the message contents whatever he has signed over there. Second thing is that it cannot be duplicated, copied, and all because of its public and private key thing that we have learned in our previous lesson. So when we are using a digital signature, if I have put up a signature, then it's authenticated on a digital document. Like in a offline document, in a hard copy, when someone signs over there and approves that whatever is the content written about me or someone else is approved by me, like someone head of an organization or head of something who has signed over there, that means he is telling this instruction, giving this instruction, authorizing that instruction. Similarly, in digital signature, also same thing happens, but it is digitally signed by a digital signature module and all. It has been secured through encrypting things and all, and whatever is signed, that makes a log of it. So next comes the digital signature, which must depends on the message integrity, must use information unique to sender to prevent both forgery and denial. Most must be relatively easy to produce so that everyone can see it and get the authenticity. Yeah, it is the person and there is no fake thing into it. Must be relatively easy to recognize and verify. Be computationally infeasible for to forge, so that nobody can make a copy to it. And again, tomorrow the different documents have been published on his authenticity and all. In this forgery with new message for existing digital signature, with fraudulent digital signature for given message. Whatever the fraudulent digital signature have been given, that also gives a log to it that any forgery happens, or make sure that if any existing digital signatures are going on, the new messages can also have it, and a complete audit log trail continues with it. So be practical, save digital signature in storage, so that all the things we have, that so many documents you have signed on this date, on that time, and where the document has spread, and all those details are kept within it, the digital signatures. Then comes the message encryption. If public key encryption is used, the encryption provides no confidence of senders, since anyone potentially knows public key. However, if sender signs message using the private key, then encrypts the recipient's public key, have both secrecy and authenticity. Again, need to recognize corrupted message, but at cost to public keys uses no messages over there. So whatever the messages I have assigned or is there encrypted, so I have to make a list of it: how many are digitally signed, how many are encrypted, how many got corrupted, and how many uses at what cost they have been using the public key usage on the encryption part of it. So all the details has to be there so that it's become easy to identify and divide the things and understand which are the secure data what we have and what we do not. In this generated by an algorithm and depending on both message and some keys like encryption through need to be reversible, appended to messages as a signature, receiver compute on message and check it matches the MAC address, the message authentication module over there or not. And then comes the provide assurance that messages is all unaltered and comes from the sender only and there is no changes been made on that. Then comes the MAC properties. MAC property is a cryptographical thing where it uses the thing, and there's a formula MAC is equal to C, the ciphertext and the key element over there with the main formula over there. The contains a variable length message M, that is the message length that we have using a secret key that K. It's to a fixed size authenticator. Okay, is a many to one function is a like from many it can be sent to one and it's like that way. Potentially many messages have same MAC, but finding these needs to be very difficult over there. So when we are talking about hash function, hashing is a method of cryptography that converts any form of data into a unique string of truth of text. Any piece of data can be hashed no matter its size or type. In traditional hashing, regardless of the data size, type or length, the hash that any data produces is always the same length. As a hash is designed to act as a one-way function, you can put data into a hashing algorithm and get a unique string, but if you come upon a new hash, you cannot decipher the input data in represents a unique piece of data and will always produce the same hash over there. So that's all the thing that we have talked about earlier also. Hash function and assumes to be public always and use a fixed size of fingerprint so that it can be always be copied to the same thing. So these are the few requirements. So to have a message authenticated can be applied to any size of message M, produce a fixed length of output, what any element. In is easy to compute h is equal to hm for any message M given h is infeasible to find xst h to the h with the bracket of x is equal to h, one way property basically. Then we have the weak collision resistance over there and a strong collision resistance over there. So this was all about the message integrity and message authentication, where it uses and how it works upon them. I hope if you have any doubts or anything, do post comments over there and we can look into it. Thank you.